viewers around the world.
Hello. Good day, everyone. Good day, viewers.
Viewers around the world. My name is Michael. You guys you are welcome to our Friday edition of SSM World Affairs. Today is 27th day of
Could you please check your audio? It's
yes. Hang on a little. Hang on.
okay. Yeah. So welcome to our SSM News Echo segment. Today we'll be focusing on news relevant to the global audience, and we have a whole lineup of topics to touch on. So stay tuned and grab a cup of coffee, and
Yes.
of course, we hope to be able to answer all your questions and provide the latest updates.
Thank you very much for today. I don't know. Can you still hear me? Having a little noise here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, there's a lot of echo
Yes.
from the.
Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
Right. Right. Still building, putting some things together. Well,
I can't hear you.
um, okay. Can you hear me now, Dr. Godwin?
Yes, much better. Yes, much
Good.
better now.
Okay. Started again. Anyway, I think it's the audio, my audio, CD. But anyway, the world of the world of we are on to Echo World Affairs 7th Friday. And I'm of like we're going to we're going to headlines. Headlines for today from Nigeria and also from parts of the world. Number one, we have an additional headline that's taking all in Nigeria presently. Uh, River State Police Command has paraded one diamond 400 students of petroleum engineering from Port Harcourt University. The young man has been alleged to have killed 20-year-old ex-girlfriend for money ritual. Yes, that's coming from River State, Nigeria, South Nigeria. Also in the news in Nigeria is that former deputy governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Professor Kingston has been appointed chairman of the board of directors of African Private Sector Summit. The African Private Sector Summit is a Pan-African private non-profit
Yeah, Mark, I
organization.
think we should go on a commercial break while this audio is being sorted out because you're absolutely inaudible. Yes.
Yes, good morning, Dr. Godwin. So sorry for those.
Yes,
Sorry. This is what happens
yes,
with technology. You know those things. So anyway,
yes, of
we are
course.
back, viewers. We are back. Beautiful morning out here in Milan, wherever you may be. We hope it's the same. This Friday, the 27th of October 2023. We're here to give our news update, the SSM news update on world affairs. And world affairs looks into global news around the world. So, Dr. Godwin, it's good to have you. Also joining us from Lagos, Nigeria, is our one and only uh, beautiful lady, smart, BD Nana. BD, can you hear
Good
us?
morning. Yeah, I can hear you very
Morning.
well.
Good morning. Good morning. Welcome.
Good
Thank you. You're
morning.
welcome.
Good morning. Thanks for
Okay,
having
okay,
us
gentlemen,
here.
let's run through the headlines quickly. Then we'll go into discussion. Like I was reading out earlier on, one major news that is taking all the newspaper in Nigeria presently is the River State Police Command parades one Damian, a 400 level student of petroleum engineering from University of Port Harcourt, River State, that's South Nigeria. He's been alleged to have killed his 20-year-old girlfriend, ex-girlfriend, for money ritual. That's a very, very serious case. Also in the news this morning is former deputy governor of Central Bank and a presidential candidate in Nigeria, Professor Kingsley Moghalu, has been appointed chairman of the board of directors for an organization called African Private Sector Summit. African Private Sector Summit is a non-profit organization that promotes trade and investments in Africa, and it's headquartered in Accra, Ghana. Also in the news this morning is Malaysia's royalty this Friday chose an influential sultan from the southern state of Johor to be their next king. The king of Malaysia is a ceremonial position, but that king serves the nation and looks over issues of um, um, governance. Also, he says that the king is also the commander in chief of the armed forces. So that's from Malaysia. They've chosen one of their sons to become the king for for Malaysia. Also in the news this morning, a court in Nigeria, in Enugu State, Nigeria, lifts the IPOB ban and has awarded Nnamdi Kanu 8 billion naira. So there's a Justice Onova of the Enugu High Court declared that the proscription of the indigenous people of Biafra by the Southeastern Governor Forum is illegal and unconstitutional. So he says it's null and void, and a damage fee of 8 billion is to be paid to Nnamdi Kanu. So these are some of the news, gentlemen, lady. This is some news we're looking at this morning from the newspaper. Dr. Godwin, what do you say about this brief news headline before we go into the discussion?
I would say they are informative at best, or maybe to say the least. But yes, it's horrible the killing of the lady by, if it's true, because sometimes all this parading turns out not to be exactly the case, or sometimes people are made to confess on that duress. So I think the police, Nigerians need to look into all the evidence to ascertain whether it's whether it deserves the attention it's given. But of course, I hope that um, the the truth is found and the culprits pay the maximum penalty. Now, concerning the IPOB case, it's one judge. Now, I don't know if all judges agree with him, and obviously, um, the case could, the decision could be appealed, and we've seen that we are not lacking court decisions. What we are lacking is the government obeying those court decisions.
Court
It's not that we
decisions.
need more. It's not that we need more court decisions. Decisions are more than enough. I think what we need to see is a little bit more respect for court decisions, maintain the rule of law, and try to ensure that there's security in all regions, whether in the southeast, the southwest.
That's good. Thank you. Yes, good one. BD, it looks as if the one thing that's occurring more in Nigeria is this ritual killing, using people's body parts for money. I mean, where did we get that? What gives people that notion? And how did we come up with that idea that you kill somebody and you make money? I mean, Dr. Godwin, you agree with me that it's about hard work. It's about learning a skill. It's about, I mean, those are the process of making money. So how come you cut somebody's eye and you begin to make money? Bidia, I don't know. Do you have answer to that? Because that's it's happening more in Nigeria now these days.
Yeah, massive like that is more in Nigeria, and more of this is going to come. We should
Mm,
just watch out for it because we now live in a moral decayed society, in a society where people will walk up and try to justify their own evil with the evil you have done in the past. That's the kind of society we live in now. Do you understand? So, like,
mm,
um, Dr. Ibe said that we don't have less judgment than what we need is for government to, or the government to obey the rule of law. So it's been happening. This thing, last week, one of the guy that killed her girlfriend too, and there was apprehended in Sierra Leone.
mm.
He killed the girl, changed his passport, and ran away. Since over 2 months, he was apprehended in this thing. In this same country, we've seen husband kill the wife of like 5, 6 years and use her body for ritual. That is because our people are not well informed. We live in a society where we celebrate money. It's all about money, 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 money. If you don't have this money, they talk down on you, they look down on you. Nobody cares how you make the money. We all are here. We know that how robbers, armed robbers, thieves are being celebrated. So, what are you telling a small boy who is a 400 level engineering student that is
Students.
about to get into the labor market? He has a lot of opportunity ahead of him, but he's so much in a hurry. He wants to make money in school because when you make this money, the society respects you. They call your name, they give you accolade, the family respects you. They don't care where you got this money from. So that is actually what is pushing a lot of these young boys into using. It's not just their girlfriend. We've had stories in this country where boys use their mothers for ritual. Now, as this thing has happened, people have come out to say, "Hey, guess you're not here. You're always looking for rich men. You're always going after Yahoo boy." That's actually where we have how we have gotten here. When there is evil, instead of us to condemn or punish people who commit evil, we now shift blame because we are liars society. We don't like the truth. Rather than us to call out the people who are doing this thing, then we shift the blame. Most time the blame is on the girls. Hey, you're too materialistic. You're looking for Yahoo boy who will give you money. We keep blaming them, and these boys keep killing our girls. Rather than us to focus on the people who are killing and talk to them and criticize them, tell them that what they are doing is evil. No, we'll leave them, but we'll blame the girls. Now, I most time I ask them, "You're blaming a girl. Like this girl now is they are students. Not many of us with this school boyfriend. Most best and great relationship and marriages started in school. So nobody will say she was greedy. She did not do hookup. Because when we hear people go for hookup, we criticize them and leaving the people who are doing the evil. So massive Bank, it has come to stay with us. And like I said, more is going to come. If you know the level of hunger in Nigeria now, if you know the level of poverty in Nigeria now, you see what that has happened, more will come. And to crown this thing all, our brains are so empty. People cannot reason, people cannot discern what is before them. So all these fake pastors, fake men of God who have the money to do about. I attended a program yesterday, Nigerian media and film program that happened in Lagos. So I was discussing with them. I was telling them that we, the media, are the problem the Nigeria is having. They said no. I said, let me tell you. Now there's some channels. I said I want my programs to be there. They said they gave me the money. I said I can't afford it. In that channel, they have about 160 content producers. 152 are religious people. They are the people who can afford it. Now, and I told them that you see how you're the problem. You guys have allowed these people to use the money to change the narrative of what people take in our society, what people assimilate, what people imbibe in
It's
people,
okay.
because they're providing.
You, yeah, BD, it's so wonderful when you bring your views into things. You condemn the act. You also talk about the effect and how it comes up to be. These are great ways of putting it out. Dr. Godwin, this is it. Our country has been blown up with the mentality that young men have to kill their girlfriends, mothers, friends. They have to go through some form of rites, spiritual rituals, and before they make money. So there's a lot of job to do, Dr. Godwin. So how do we start? How do we begin to change this mentality? Because we out here in the diaspora, we see how people live good life, and they've done it through working, through hard work, through acquiring skills, through going to school. How do we change this mad mentality in our country where people think they have to kill, to commit, do ritual to make money? Do you have an answer to that, Dr. Godwin? I know it's
Yes,
coming off.
yes,
Mhm.
yes. I don't want to dwell too much on it, but I think it is not the ritual that is the problem, or even mm, you know the idea of the ritual that's the problem. The problem is just poverty and the need to survive. When people are poor, people can't eat. It's very easy to radicalize them. Any idea if you tell them a cat is a goldfish and you give them $1 every time they say yes, I agree, they're going to be firm believers that a cat is a goldfish. There's nothing you
Yes.
can do about it. Just give them $1 every time they say yes, I agree. Yes, a cat is a goldfish, and that's it. You have so many believers. And when they
Yes.
can't eat, they can't feed. All they need to do is just to be hallelujah boys, and they guarantee their next food. What do you expect them to do? So we have to tackle poverty. We have to tackle disinformation. We have to educate our people, let them understand not just the short-term consequences, the long-term consequences of their action, and how the same insecurity they create could affect not only them but their sisters, their brothers, their mothers, their fathers. And when we have an all-encompassing strategy that tackles the survival problem, and then the education problem, then we begin to see a long-term change in the behavior of people.
Mm. Thank you very much. Gentlemen, that's nice. That's for the newspaper headline, tidbits of newspaper headline we got this morning. We're going into the main discussion now. You all were awoken to the tragedy. We're not too surprised when it comes from America, because we know that this has been it. But this one was blown out of the normal size. As it is now, officially, we have 18 killed in Lewiston, man town, where a mass shooter, a gunman armed with AR-15, opened fire at people in a bowling alley. And this man is a firearm expert. They also said he's an army reservist. He's called Robert Card. He's a man of interest. 50 to 60 people are presently injured in those two locations, the bowling alley and the bar that he did this shooting. Gentlemen, uh, before we go into the discussion, I want to welcome Sir George Chuku from Toronto, Canada. I think George will also give us more on this news. George, you're welcome. How are you
Thank you.
from that end?
Thank you, Mark Godwin. Thank you, Dr. Ibe, and our beautiful BD all the way from Nigeria.
You're welcome, Sir George.
A
Thank you.
country with permanent potentials.
That's it. George,
Thank
we're
you.
following Robert Card as it is now. Has he been arrested? As at when I went through the update, they are still searching for him. Police are knocking on doors of homes in local area around there. Helicopter is flying, hovering around. As at last night, authorities are telling people also to stay back, close your door, and call if you see any suspicious movement. Um, the man has caused more than a disaster. The shooting is presently one of the deadliest in the United States so far this year. It's even worse than the El
The
Paso
deadliest, not one of the deadliest, the deadliest this
deadliest.
year.
Is that okay? It's worse than the El Paso shooting in Walmart in 2019. They said the rampage began about 6 p.m. that Wednesday evening, and two locations, a bowling alley and a bar. We are taking down people, parents were running with children, boop, 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 stampede everywhere, commotion. George, give us update. What do you have from that corner?
Well, as of last night when I went to bed, he's not been arrested. They're still looking for him.
Mhm.
It's going to be a difficult one simply because he was trained. And sometimes some of these people they blame it on their mental conditions.
Mhm.
But how can you be so messed up in your mind, Dr. Ibe, since you're with us, and you'll be able to strategically put things together and go into a bowling alley and and just using the gun to kill people and
And he's still not caught till now. Still not
yeah,
caught.
because he's a trained man. He's a trained masks man. He's a reservist. He's trained to kill. And then where he had gathered all these weapons, and the Republicans in America are still giving, excuses. Oh, the gun don't kill people. People kill people. Yeah, to a degree it is true, but when you allow such, amount of ammunition that you're supposed to use in the war to be purchased by people. And let me tell you something: the hypocrisy of all these things is because the white folks are the ones that are fueling all of this. The point is that they feel like their Second Amendment right is that they can own a weapon to protect themselves. But if you have a pistol, you can protect yourself. Why do you want a weapon of such magnitude that you use in a war? Look at how many people that were just killed. So this is just exactly what is happening in our country. When we see corruption, we dance around corruption, we celebrate corruption, and everything is just like that. People are casting off restraint in different areas. So, and this is what is happening in that country until they come to terms with the fact. And as a matter of fact, let me tell you something. You see what is happening in Nigeria is the same thing that is happening in America when it comes to guns. Until they start killing the people or those people that are making these decisions, then you will see changes. But as long as they are protected and nobody is touching them or their children or family members, they will not change it. So to them it's like a joke. So it's very
Thank you very
sad.
much.
It's very, very sad. I
Yes,
hate it,
very sad.
but what can you do?
BD, sorry, let me come to Godwin first. Godwin, the last time this kind of thing happened, the El Paso time, Trump said something. His words were, if other people had guns right there at the bowling alley and the bar, they will come after him. So it will be people taking him out even before he goes further to K18. So how do you see this with what George is saying? Should more people carry more? Should more good people? They say they use the word good people. Should good people carry guns also to protect themselves and to defend in this kind of situation? What do you say, Godwin?
Um, I don't like to interfere in US internal politics. I think the US citizens they know how best to decide their issues. But
Mhm.
as an observer who is asked the question and on a show and I have to answer, I would say that the number of deaths in 2022 from mass shootings in United States is 647. I don't mean like one person murder. I mean mass shooting.
Mass shooting.
647. And this
Imagine.
year we are, according to prediction, not me, by Western media, they are predicting 679 this year, and this one that just happened is the worst. So there's it can't be the access to the gun. It has to be a social problem. It has to be a social problem. It has to be a lot of people who want to vent out something and want to vent it out militarily, vent it out violently. For example, a girl will probably resort. I don't mean this to insult, but I mean, you have to go along with me that generally women express their anger in words and in body language, while men express it more violently. I think we can all agree on that. And we see more of this expression and the coordination, like Sergio said. It can't be one person who is uncalculative and illogical. No, this is somebody who is highly skilled and highly evasive of arrest. Up till this moment, the whole world knows about the case, except his arrest. He's not arrested. So it cannot be a mental case. It cannot even be maybe the access or lack of access to guns, but it has to be a social problem. And then, last but not the least, the having access to guns, I never see it as personally as the biggest issue, because bad people are called bad because they can get around the law. It's not about armed robbers in Nigeria. We don't have, like Sir George compared to Nigeria, but the thing you didn't add is that Nigerians were not legally allowed to have guns, but we still have the same level of operations carried out. So bad people are called bad for a reason, because they have the connection that give them access to perform bad things. So we have to understand that, yeah, Trump also said if more people had gone, that is plausible, but it still doesn't take care of the social problem. And the US seems to be more involved in 750 military bases around the world, involved in Israel, war, Ukraine, Libya, and maybe back home they need to be a little bit more focused on domestic issues, so that, like fentanyl killing more people than even
Yes.
all these things.
Before we go on break, let me just ask PD this one. Last week also, a state governor from not Nigeria, northern part of Nigeria, said he wants the government to look into Nigerians carrying guns legally. BD, what do you think will happen if that bill, that kind of bill is passed? That Nigerians carrying guns. I mean,
See,
people walking with guns. Did you hear the governor say that?
Yeah, that
The
was
governor.
Katsina State Governor. He was the one
Yes.
that said it. And you
Mm-hmm.
know why he said that? In Katsina, they have two governments in Katsina. The Boko Haram, the ISIS, they've raised their flag there. They have their own community where they rule. And the federal government of Nigeria, started from Buhari, have allowed them. They collect tax, they collect levy from people from that area. It's been there for over 2 years. So I think, somebody like him as a governor have allowed that for some time, and he's just working on that to say probably because it's becoming too much of it. So why he said that is for self-defense over this Boko Haram and unknown gunmen. I think that was why he said that. And if that should happen in Nigeria, that would be okay, and we'll kill ourselves one day, and everybody will go and rest. That's
Ah,
okay. Now, having said that, what happened in America? I think America knows what is happening to him, because let me tell you, this man is at large. They've now arrested him till now, and some people have coming out to make excuses for him. That's one thing I don't understand. Secondly, now America they give free license for people to own gun. Now a man comes to own that kind of gun.
AR,
He's not a
AR.
military man. Why should they
Yes.
sell that kind of gun to someone? If you're giving people a free hand to license to own a gun, there should be some certain type of gun they should own. Do you understand? So I think it's an American problem. They know what is happening there, and probably they are trying to be like Nigerians by lying.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Let's go on a break, small break. We'll be back to give some real good updates again. George, want to see you there. BD and Godwin, thank you both all for coming. Let's go on this break now, and we'll be back. Thank you.
A year ago, I wrote a book titled The Final Solution, and I was trying to say to the rest of the world that there are challenges ahead. Now, a prophecy did come, and that prophecy is coming to pass. But I'm telling you, the final solution has been found many years ago in the Bible, because the Bible simply says righteousness exalts a nation and sin is a reproach to the people. So I want you to know that you can get solutions to problems in Ukraine, in Russia, in Nigeria, indeed all parts of the world. We need that solution, and the solution is straightforward. Please get a copy of my book. It's the Final Solution by Bishop Shegun Johnson, and you can find it in Kindle, in Amazon. Just type Bishop Shegun Johnson, The Final Solution. It will come. It's very, very small book you can read within 2 hours, but it contains the final solution. Do get a copy. Not getting it is doing disservice to humanity. Don't forget the final solution.
Hi there, I'm Mary Keurig, and I am a businesswoman in the United States, but I'm also the Global Content Vice President for the Sub-Saharan Open University in Nigeria. I could not be prouder to work with Dr. Osita Anamika and his team on helping to create not just entrepreneurs and skill-based talent that will get out into the workforce and make a living for themselves, but also young leaders. And to that end, with this integrity-rich university environment that's accredited now, and it's just an amazing opportunity for anyone there of any age to jump on board and learn, we want to let you know about a new offering that we have. We have a global governance and diplomacy course now provided by a whole team of people that crosses several countries to put together these resources and lots of great information for those of you who might be on the path toward public service and diplomatic service, NGO leadership, that sort of thing. We hope that you will walk through this open door and enjoy.
Yes, you're welcome, viewers. You're welcome to our SSM News Echo today, Friday, 27th October 2023. Gentlemen, lady, yesterday we saw an earthquake, political in our country, Nigeria. I know some of you will say, let's not overstretch Tinubu versus Atiku, Obi versus Chichibuna. I think it's good to give an update. So, George, what do you see from yesterday's outing? Yesterday, the Supreme Court dismissed new evidence for lack of jurisdiction. Yesterday, also, the court told LP that uploading results to the INEC portal does not invalidate election. Yesterday, also, the court said 25% in FCC is not required to be a president. George,
Is that what?
he said 25%. FTC, we used to say, only before FTC, you need to have a 25% vote from FCC. So, and Tinubu didn't score up to that percentage, and now he says it's not a requirement. That even if it didn't score up to that, it's not. It doesn't mean. But one thing they said the most is that the upload of results to viewing the portal of INEC, that IREV, does not invalidate the election. So that they couldn't upload. INEC couldn't upload to the IREV. All those things went off at the last minute. It doesn't mean anything. Still, the man still won and he won. George, you get all these statements. You hear me?
The problem, can anything good come from Nigeria? Can anything good come from the three arms of government in Nigeria? You see, these are the things that are happening that, the impetus of, each arm of the government to just come out and do whatever without regard to what people think or what the world is saying. Tomorrow now, when there is a coup in Nigeria, you will start looking at all these international powers coming to rescue us. But these are the things that, you are inside the water and soap is entering into your eyes. And that's exactly the type of country that we have. It is really laughable, but you know what? A day will come, a judgment day is coming in that country when the disadvantaged and disenfranchised people will rise up and say enough is enough. Because you cannot continue. People are just cast off restraint. Everybody's doing what they want. You take the law, it is white, you call it black. It doesn't matter. That's the impetus, because money rules that country. There is no morality anymore in Nigeria as we speak. That's what it is. So when you say, all eyes on the judiciary, they are all laughable individuals. And these are old men and women, so deplorable, in a deplorable state that they can't even, I don't even know, what are their children and their grandchildren going to be? What would they tell them tomorrow when history comes out, or when they see their children trying to do something wrong? What right would they have to correct those children? The country has gone haywire. To your tents, all Nigerians. We have no portion in this government, man. That's all I say. Laughable thing.
It's laughable, really. BD, Justice Ieng Okoro, the man who led the 7-member panel of justice yesterday, he said a lot of things. He said a lot. The other sad thing is that at the end of it all, Tinubu won, and Tinubu said he now has faith in Nigerian judiciary. That Nigerian judiciary was never shaken, and our court delivered justice. These are the words of the man that is our president. BD, how do you feel? How do you see this from your end, and living in Nigeria, seeing that justice is no more what we thought it used to be? It's actually a woman with a blinded eyes, and she doesn't see anything. She just gives judgment according to the facts on ground and what it is. So now that woman, eyes are open as we are seeing it, and she's now taking sides, and she's being partial, and she's doing all of this.
Can we check the pocket of the woman, because it might be full of money from the bullion van?
Yes, we saw that last time also, where some people showed the woman picking money from the ground, and she removed her eye fold, and she's picking money from the ground.
And that thing she's wearing is not the original one. We need to check.
Honestly, you remember last week, Dr. Ibe said something. He said, we already said this thing here, and I'm not surprised. I'm not anything. But when he said, if we already know this thing, why waste a lot of time?
Why we wait exactly?
And you said something. We need to give updates, and I agree with you. We need to give updates. And based on giving that updates, I want to say something about what Sir Joy said. Sir Joy said, one day. Look, let me tell you, there's nothing like one day in Nigeria. let's be frank with ourselves. You know, we use religion to deceive ourselves in this part of the country. God has given us everything we need. Let me give you an example. When Spain protested for a certain government to resign, they came out in mass. That is power of the people. That is when people know the kind of power they possess. But what do we get in Nigeria? We get tribal war. We get people bashing each other. Do you understand? So people don't come out to demand from their government. And our government have succeeded in silencing us, caging us, and like this will remain forever. Sorry, but that's the truth. You see, Nigerian situation is not changing. Because I just read something yesterday, about 2 days ago, how maybe before I was even born, when Nigerian Airways was still operating, a guy that stays in United States of America, he's been there for over 40 years. He's not coming back to Nigeria. They told us about how he paid for to travel to UK. He came to airport, and his name, this time you will stay here, they will bring out list of people who will be flying. He
Yeah, we
was
saw
there
the 1970
for
or so.
he said he slept in airport for 5 good days because he doesn't want to go. Maybe his name will come out, he will miss his flight. He slept there. He said even when he was sleeping, that he met other people who have been in the airport for more than a week. He said he was there lying. This man is a big man, a lecturer, lying down on international airport there. It was Shegu Odebami that came. And he said he just met Shegu Odebami in his cousin's house a week to that. And asked him, what are you doing there? He just told him his predicament. He said, give me your ticket. He went inside and spoke to them. And now came out, are you ready to travel? And I said, that was how they now led him into the flight. He said when he got to the flight was barely empty. A lot of empty seats. And they left Nigeria to UK. And millions of Nigerians who have paid. It's not as if they did not pay. They've paid. The government has collected their money. We are lying in the airports, weeks, waiting. Many of them, they will wait and they will get tired, they will go. So you see, this corruption did not start today. But the thing is this, we the Nigerians, we've accepted this and it will remain like this. That's just the truth. Let us just be talking. See, one thing I tell, there's this statement I have said, you have to disagree to agree. You see this thing, Obi is a quiet man, he likes legal. If I'd allowed Nigerian after the election to do it their own way, maybe it would have gone a different way. But thank God there was no one. But you see, Nigeria is not getting better. I'm sorry to say this. I don't want to talk about the Supreme Court. They've given their judgments. Who are you to challenge them? They've said it. And it means that we now have a new law in Nigeria and everybody will be saying. And that's what I said earlier. We're talking about boys who are killing people. Well, that's not that corruption. It is in our society. Everybody is taking about. A man told my friend in his office, say, tell your people, you people should stop complaining. Who has not forged in Nigeria? I'm saying it here. A very old man in his 70s. He said, tell your people they should go and rest. Who have not forged in Nigeria? This is what we do every time. It's part of us.
Thank you very much, Bidi. Thank you very, very much. Bidi, it's really sad. The new Nigerian law legal system has formed a new part to its operation, and it's not a good one. Dr. Godwin, the sad thing there is the constitutional documents have been reverted, it's been changed. Now imagine the upload, the 25% of FTC is no more an issue. And before that was an issue. We've all, since democracy in Nigeria, that has been a factor. If you don't make 25% for FTC Abuja, you're not to be elected president. Now also, we know how Yakub Mohammed came to the UK Chatham House and talked about the IREV and the upload and everything. And now this Supreme Court is telling us that that failure of not uploading doesn't mean anything, that the result doesn't count, blah, 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 blah. Dr. Godwin, I know you said we've stretched this issue. It's time to move on and see other things, but let's just round it up this week and we know we are done with Nigeria and the presidential election. So what is your take on this whole thing that has been twisted?
My take on it, as you've rightly said, overflogged it. The reason is simple. I don't see any strategy from all the efforts. I said it, I've been saying it for many weeks. You argue, people who, I said it many weeks, that Nigeria deserves to know the truth. Nigeria should get to the bottom of the truth. Fine, that's wonderful. But with all the commentary and all of that, we all expecting the same thing. What we saw yesterday is what we are all expecting. So then, what is this? What was the strategy? What was it? Just to complain or to whine or to But what was the strategy? And I can see that the strategy is just to continue whining. We can't change it. We know we can't change it. So I don't see it as the best return on investment. Now, concerning the 25% FCT, my stance has been I don't consider the 25% an important factor. And that is because whatever we talk about today, it can go back and bite you the same. Be careful what you wish for can come back and bite you. You might have a candidate tomorrow who is going to win, but because of that 20, who has won everything else, but because of that 25%, that's what is stopping him. And I believe that that's predominantly wrong. FCT should not have more privilege than any other state in the country. I've said that very clearly. But about the uploading, I consider it a monumental failure. I spoke with the commissioner of INEC. I spoke with so many, but I believe that they promised that immediate upload. Why it wasn't there is a monumental failure. And it makes it difficult for even me to believe the results that were announced on the election day. And I believe so many other Nigerians also doubt those results. And it doesn't create that sense of trust, build that trust which we expected. So yes, I condemn that, and I have no two words to mince about that. And now about Nigeria, any good thing coming out of that? Yeah, Nigeria is bigger than politicians. Nigeria is bigger than bad policies. Nigeria has a lot of potential. It's a great country leading with a lot of potential, but unfortunately, we are not realizing those potential. And we hope that we're able to get out of this bad situation that we find ourselves and lead us to the great path. And I hope that when we are done with the whole electioneering, which we are done with, hopefully, that our commander, Chief Bola Tinubu, can look beyond all this division, disagreement, political party, and come up with much better policies that can move us forward. Because, like I said, the office of the presidency needs to be respected, because it is what is the executive branch that executes the laws that enshrined in our constitution, that grants us that diplomatic, consular services, privileges that we, both Nigerians back at home, Nigerians abroad, enjoy today. So we have to respect that office, irrespective of whoever is there, and try to see how we can work together to have a strategy that works for us. And that strategy is commenting on good policies, putting forward good policies, castigating them when they are bad, recommending them when they are good, and seeing how we can work together for our own benefit.
Wow, thank you very much. Dr. Gorin, I'll come back to you. You're going to give us update on some happenings in your end. But before we come to you, George, having in mind that next month, just few weeks from now, the INEC, the same INEC, will be conducting election in Bayelsa, Kogi, Imo State. They call this election off-cycle election. Off-cycle because somehow these three states missed doing it at that time because of going to court and some other shortcomings in the election season. So, George, what do you say with all that INEC has done? INEC chairman Yakub Mohammed is still going to conduct election in November of this year. What's your reflection on that? How do you think it will go?
Well, I can talk about Imo State. That is the center of corruption. I don't know how it's going to work out, because we already know before the main election, the presidential election, and before that time, we saw the governor of Imo State. Something came out where he was a group of people from both China and all those places, we are all included in Imo State. I don't know where they came from. So the point is this: I am not quite sure, whether or not there's going to be, a clean, clear election, since it might not affect him directly. In the presidential election, if you look at the election that took place, both the House of Reps and the Senate president and the Senate, everything was relatively okay. They uploaded the results and things like that, and it was okay. So I'm not expecting anything different this time, unless the bullion van is still moving on the ground from one state to another. It could go in those places too, because we know who is the governor in Imo State. So it's very, very unfortunate. Like Dr. Ibe is saying, listen, this is our lifestyle now in Nigeria. Yeah, what I was saying, can anything good come out of the three arms of the government? And I still maintain it. Nothing good can come out of the three arms of government in Nigeria. It is a corrupt system, and it remains corrupt until that country is baptized, rebaptized into where, maybe things can start coming out that will be, equitable and fair and just. But for now, I mean, they're going to have the election. I don't know what is going to happen, because I'm not expecting anything good to come out. I'm sorry. It's very, very sad. But
thank you very much. Biggie, talking of equity, justice, and doing things in a normal way, yesterday, the DSS confirmed they've released ex-EFCC chairman Abdulrasheed Bawa after 134 days in detention. It's a funny situation there, because we don't know. They just arrested him, kept him mute in a specific place with nobody knew, and a lot of us were saying, let's hear the crime, let's know what it is, let's understand things, so we all know how to be carried along. But how do you see that, BD? Before I come to Dr. Ibe giving us updates from Russia, what will you say? DSS has released.
What I will say before I respond to that, please, this Imo, Bayelsa, and Kogi election, there's nothing like equity and fairness in Nigerian election. What I'm suggesting is that they should keep those money they are going to spend, give it to the states, and do their selection, because that's exactly what they are going to do. So this election they are coming to bring it to, there's nothing like election in Nigeria. Now, having said that, the EFCC, they've released him after keeping him for 120 something days. And in return, he has sued the EFCC for keeping him, because they didn't tell Nigeria what was his crime. They just kept a man for over 120 something days. Then they now just released him. That's the same thing we are talking about the problem in our judicial system. You can't just, our law, the law of Nigeria say you don't keep somebody for 24 hours without not charging the person to court. And you've kept a man for 120 something days, and you just wake up and release the person. It shows that we no longer have law in this country. It shows that we don't obey the rule of law. Do you understand? And now everybody expects not to say anything about it, keep quiet, and we'll go on. How will things go on with this kind of situation?
How would things go on? Thank you, BD.
What about the governor of CBN Bank? Is he not still in court? Is it not still held?
Well, he has his some charges anyway. Sorry, everybody. There are some occurrences coming out from Russia and that part of the world. We want Dr. Ibe to give us update. Dr. Ibe, can you give us update on some of the news going on from your end? Somebody is also putting his Uzbekistan flag out here. That's to raise the flag and say they are also listening from that corner. Dr. Ibe, go ahead. Let's hear the news update from your end.
Yeah, there's lots of news updates in Russia. Russia is recording some progress in the Ukraine conflict in terms of both gaining territory and all of that. Of course, coming at the cost of lives, both Ukraine, Russia, and everyone in war. It's war, every people die. Also, we have the U.S. spy who was arrested, I think, sometime in September on spy charges. His name is Evan Gershkovich. Yesterday was his birthday, if I'm not mistaken, and he's been held up for charges which are connected with espionage. But these things are usual. You can call this the modus operandi of all sides, because U.S. are at detains people that for charges of espionage for Russia. In fact, there's somebody who was shot 3 days ago who is going to spend close to 22 years in prison in Colorado, in US, for charges of spying for Russia. But this one, I think he has some kind of plea deal. But you see, these things happen, and the way out is for spy exchange. They reach some kind of settlement, they exchange maybe 10 spies, each 10 Russian, 10 US gold. I think this is a diplomatic way to sort out this problem. But one thing you should know is that the evidence of this kind of things are not released to the public. How they know it was a spy is never released to the public. So we would never be able to have enough information to comment on that. I think basically that's it from Russia in terms of development and world news. Also, the Gaza, Israel-Gaza war. The Russia has maintained its stance very clearly that it's supposed to two-state solution. It doesn't support the blockade of Gaza, and it supports also Brazil's offer for peace in Gaza, which it was rejected, I think, at the United Nations Security Council. But Russia has proposed, as China has proposed, and Russia is backing Brazil's offer for peace. Because as I understand, there are over 18 interventions of Israel in terms of Gaza, and in fact, Israel wars concerning their related to their defense.
But Egypt,
and it's been largely unsuccessful.
Yes, Egypt border crossing opened up to allow aid into Gaza. About 20 trucks are moving in, so that has been helping also the humanitarian crisis.
But migrants are not allowed, and that's only from the southern border. The northern border is still blocked. No access to food, electricity, water. This is people who talk about moral equivalence. I don't know what is more important to them, morality or humanity. If people are dying, of what difference is it if you're sitting in your room and a rocket comes and the whole house crashes under you and you're finished? You don't even know what hit you, or you die of suffocation.
Is it true? Mark, is it true that so Hamas representatives are in Russia discussing with the Russian government? Because I heard
that I can't confirm that now. I can't confirm that. But what I know is that many of the representatives have been all over the world, meeting in different locations to try, especially with Turkey. Turkey being one of the main leaders in bringing the Arab world together.
Please, I'm sorry, but you all know that time is always not on our side. But I want to thank you all for coming to News Echoes this beautiful Friday. We've put out a lot here, all that has been happening so far. More things will still be happening through the weekend till Monday. Wednesday, we'll be back to give updates on the Global Africa News, SSM News Echoes. So thank you, BD. BD, be on the lookout for more things happening from your end. Nigerian news never ends. It's always popping up every minute. George, we'll be waiting to hear more from you with the Lewiston situation, the gunman, when he will be caught. And Dr. Godwin, we trust you to come up with the updates from your end too. So gentlemen, have a beautiful weekend. We thank you viewers for being online with us. This is SSM News Echo Global Africa. This is 27th day of October. And we want to wish you a happy weekend while we keep praying for the world and peace to reign. God bless you all. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.